All right,
We're-
record. We are
We're
now
waiting
recording.
on, we're waiting on, Diana and Ty Watts. I can just, skip back through their, slides, and if they show up, we'll have them explained, but I'll just show their slides in process, okay?
Sounds good.
So Jean, you have the floor.
Oh, okay.
Well, you bring the meeting to order and do your announcements and stuff.
All right. Well, I already gave my announcement about Shutterbug Saturday. I hope to see everybody there. I really have no further announcements. Some of you know that Gary Vandermark has been taken quite ill and is in the hospital in Tucson.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
Oh,
not doing
gee.
too well, so I'm keeping
Oh.
in touch with his wife. Please don't try to reach out to him because he doesn't have his phone right now and can't really communicate, but as there are
Oh.
meaningful updates, I will let you know.
Thank you. Hmm.
I don't really have anything else. Craig, any more? Darcy, any more on your front, or Bob, anybody?
No, no.
Just
The
the,
summer wow is in process. Remember, July and August photos, photos taken during July and August can be submitted to the summer wow. Again, judged by ourselves and with the only criterion being the wow factor.
Yes.
So anything goes. They can be submitted online through the website, of course, as usual. And in addition, Darcy's going to do another summer photo share mid-August, right? The date of that is, what date is that, Darcy? Do you remember?
the third Thursday in August.
Third
Hold on.
Thursday.
So that would be the 21st.
Great. So we'll do this sort of thing again.
And I'll send out an email after this, just it'll be, the same as last time, just different dates. And then the only thing I have before I share my screen is the PSA Festival is in Portland this the end of September, and I will post to Facebook and send out an email because online registration is open till the 31st of August. And right now it's $225 to register. They've got some great speakers and some fun outings, which happen a couple of days before. So, but you must be a member of PSA to attend. And with that, let's get into the evening share. I want to thank everyone for submitting and showing up and participating. So let me share my screen. Okay. Summer share, Summer share, 7/17/25, an evening with fellow members of Coachella Valley Desert Camera Club, sharing what they are working on this summer. What we will share: trips taken, challenges undertaken, projects undertaken, and I hope you can be inspired by the sharing happening tonight. If you would like to ask a question, just unmute and ask. This is a community effort. Participants tonight: Craig Toms, me, Diane Edelman, Gail Stewart, Jan Lyle, Jean Scott, Mitch Miller, Nadine Conger, Patrick Garrett, and Ty Watts. And Craig, you get to lead the way.
Okay.
Left me out there.
Did you submit anything, Wade?
No, I just thought you were talking about who's participating.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm in the audience. I'll be quiet.
In August, you can send some. And Craig has been doing some Photoshop editing, and I will let him take it away. Just let me know when you need to advance the slides, Craig.
Okay, take it away. Okay, so I just dusted off my camera here last week on a trip up to Santa Barbara, and I haven't worked on any of those photos, just a couple of them so far. So I didn't have anything new to submit, but what I have been doing this summer, my project has been focusing on Photoshop and getting myself some new skills, new abilities, and so forth, and working with a plugin that I've got. So I'm educating myself on refinements actually through Photoshop. So that would be luminosity masks, color masks, targeted clarity types of masks, that sort of thing. So this is a before photo right here. I simply picked out some photos that were needed a lot of help, needed a lot of work, and these are all experiments is what they are. So this is your standard clamshell, giant clamshell fountain up in Lotus Land, which is a 40-acre estate up in Santa Barbara area of Montecito. If you haven't been there, I really recommend you go up there. Lotus Land was the life work of a woman named Jana Walska, who was a failed opera singer, but a very wealthy woman after about a half a dozen marriages to wealthy men. So she bought this place in the early 40s and made a huge garden out of it. So this photo right here obviously needs a lot of work. It's got, well, a lot of blown out, well, you can tell, you can see what it needs. So why don't you go ahead and skip to the next one, Darcy? Okay, so afterwards, so using some of the new techniques that I've been working on, which I've been kind of drilling into my head, and also creating actions out of some of them, also Photoshop actions, so it's just automated. I can click a button and it does exactly what I wanted to do. But using some of those techniques that I've been working on, this one came out, considerably better for a fairly poor photo right out of camera. You can see this is has quite a bit more definition up in here. The colors pop much more, and it basically cleaned up pretty well. So, want to give us the next one, Darcy? Okay, this also is at Lotus Land. This is the bathhouse there, and this photo obviously has some really dark areas in the back. Right through the middle of it is very bright. The highlights are kind of halfway blown out, and it's pretty flat anyway. There's actually a couple of people in the bathhouse that you can't even make out, but they're back in there. So this one, I simply went ahead and did some targeted color adjustments, luminosity adjustments, and some a little bit of clarity as well, using some of these techniques in Photoshop. And it's really, most of us, we're kind of used to using global sliders and say Lightroom, to get your clarity up or your highlights down or whatever. But these techniques really are much more targeted. And I'm thinking maybe I'll put together, if people are interested, I'll put together a little sort of a presentation at some point, a photo chat, and go through some. So next photo, Darcy. So it kind of cleaned up pretty well. You can see there's a couple of people back there now. The highlights are toned down. There's more detail. If you're able to zoom in on this, you can see just how much more fine detail there is in the whole thing. So all in all, much better than what I started out with. Okay. Next photo, Darcy. Okay, this one's my favorite right here. And it's only because of the people that are in it. I mean, look, all my favorite people are in there. This obviously needs a lot of work, and it's overexposed in the top half and it's underexposed in the bottom half, and you can't make anything out. So I just went ahead and started working on it, and the next photo shows what I finally came up with. So this one, I brought out the colors, especially in the autumn leaves out there. By the way, this is Big Morongo last fall. This is a Big Morongo preserve, and just brought out the colors in the autumn leaves, a lot more detail in the foreground here, toned down the highlights through the middle, and gave it a lot more clarity. I gave it a lot more clarity here in the foreground area and so forth. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. I've been working about an hour and a half a day on experimenting with different older photos and just seeing what I can make out of them. So that's my story.
Those are pretty impressive changes, Craig. Good for you.
Thank you.
Question.
Nice to be included in the special people. And that pink jacket does pop.
Yeah, you're right there, right up front there, Jan. That's can't miss that red coat. Yeah.
No.
Mitch,
Craig,
what's going on?
Did you use luminosity masking at all?
Sorry?
Did you use luminosity masking?
I did,
Because-
yes. I have a program called TK9, which I don't know
Yeah.
if anybody else uses it or has it, but I mean, I can't say enough good things about it. It's a plug-in, and it's basically a whole series of shortcuts that really cut your time down and get you to places a lot quicker and a lot more conveniently than pushing multiple buttons, hitting multiple clicks trying to get to something. And I think what I'll do is I'll do a little demo on that. By the way, if anybody would like to see a video demo of that, there's a guy by the name of Todd Dominy who runs a very good series, and I would be more than happy to email that link to whomever would like it if you'd like to see, just get a brief overview of what it can do for you. So send me an email at ctoms.dc.rr.com, and I'm in the of course you can email me through the website as well. So I'd be more than happy to send you a link on that. Costs about $30 for this plugin one time, and it's been around about 15 plus years. And the guy who put it together is in the Tucson Camera Club, actually. He's put it together. It's quite a piece of work. So definitely recommend it.
Tony Kuiper's in the Tucson Club?
Yeah, he's in the Tucson Club. Gary has actually met him, a guy by the name of Tony Kuiper.
Yeah.
And he put it together. TK9 is the name of the plugin.
Yeah, I think I still have 6, but it's so complicated. I've not touched it for a while. But it's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, I'm all done there, Darcy.
Well, that leaves me, and I would have picked this, shooting from my iBot. And the iBot is the new wheelchair that does everything but press the shutter button for me. This is of an egret with an eel. It took this egret about 15 minutes to down the eel, and I was on the shore on a jetty, looking with my my Nikon P1000, which is the lens that goes out to 3000 millimeters. And I just thought it was really cool to include him just chowing down on an eel. And then Brookings is very handicapped accessible. And this is a path right in front of the beach, Sports Haven Beach. And I'm just rolling along down the thing, and this little driftwood fort that somebody put together just reminded me of kids playing in their summer forts. Now this sunset, in Harris Beach, it was kind of, flat, but that's what raw files are. And I'm involved in F64 Elite, Blake Rudis's, basically Photoshop, Academy for learning things. And he really stretches, finding your vision. So what I did is I brought out the highlights. I did remove a person down here, but this sunset just spoke to me of being warm and stuff. And this was taken up on a hill. And then this is Thor's Well. It's south of Yahats, Oregon, near Cape Perpetua. And it's great at high tide because it looks like the wave comes over and then it drains, like the ocean is draining out. The things about this is I spent 3 hours rolling around their paths. It's very handicap accessible. You can get down to tide pools in your wheelchair and everything like that. And the cool part is you can have the waves spray up, and I'm way up at the overlook, and I zoomed in, and this girl was standing close, and she was so surprised when the spray came up that the second picture I have of her is basically her face is in shock. And then this one has some special meaning to me. My wheelchair can go on the beach, but it doesn't like soft sand, as I found out the hard way earlier in the summer. I did get stuck, and Roy is up taking pictures of me, and I'm like, I'm stuck, and he yells down going, I can't help you. So I did get unstuck, but Gold Beach is a town north of us, and they have these mats called Moby mats, which are short for mobility mats. And they basically roll out so you can get over the dry, soft sand down to the wet. And I sat down here on the beach for a good hour and a half, 2 hours, just being at something I haven't experienced in years, being at like sea level, being on the beach, being in the scene rather than above the scene. And it changed my perspective. And this little girl, she was just walking along the shore, and then all of a sudden a wave kind of snuck up on her, and it's like the first time she got wet from the water. And it was just fun to capture her reaction, basically close up and not from a distance. So that's all I have to share. Any questions?
No, I just think it's so great that you can get down there in that new vehicle of yours and do this stuff.
Oh, yes, yes.
Fabulous images. Good
Yeah,
job.
and this
Thank
is a
you.
really fun shot too, this.
Yeah, I like the action here, clarity. Yeah, cute.
That's great.
You can tell she didn't expect to get soaking wet at that point.
No, she didn't. And a little bit more to the backstory is I'm still on the beach as they walk back, and I asked her, and she goes, yeah, that wave got me wet. It was kind of cool. So
The sunset is a very nice shot too, Darcy, especially with the silhouette of that one person down there on the beach. It really gives you the scale of the whole thing. It's very nice.
thank you. Is Diana here? We'll just go through her pictures. She took a trip to escape the heat of the desert.
Nice sky.
How beautiful.
Yeah. Stormy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like the way that
Light, yeah.
pops.
Oh, I didn't even notice till just now. There's a person on the beach.
Yeah,
And that pier just pops in that light.
it does.
And next up, we have Gail. I am so glad we had some technical issues on my part to get her pictures in, but we got it worked out. So
Yeah,
Gail,
after 3 or 4 emails, but thanks for your persistence. I don't know what
thanks for your persistence.
happened. Sure.
So Gail, here you go.
Okay, we are just back from a trip to the Dolomites, and it was kind of a hiking, biking trip. It's really our happy place. It's our 4th time there. It's just a beautiful area of northern Italy where they've got it all set up for hiking, beautiful hiking. You stay at a little town and you can go to all these gondolas and up in the mountains and hike. And the hiking's really easy and it's as long or as short as you want to make it. So the first part was hiking. It was beautiful. Just before we left, I broke my collarbone. So I was in a shoulder immobilizer and I wasn't able to use my camera at all. So these are all phone pictures, and I really it forced me to use my phone, which I never used for photography really. But it was fun. I put it in RAW, and it was great.
That's a great shot. I love it.
Oh, thank you, thank you. And this is the kind of hiking you get. We flew into Venice, and then we took a train over to the west side of Italy, over to Bolzano, and then we just worked our way all the way back across to Venice. So like I say, the first part was hiking, and this is the kind of hiking you get once these little towns are situated for hiking. It's just all set up. So you go up into the mountains by gondola, and they have all kinds of wonderfully marked trails. And every time you go 4 or 5 miles, and there's a refugio, and you go to the refugio, and they've got a restaurant, and the food is just great. So you usually would do a big loop, get back on the gondola, and come back down. So it's a great, really beautiful hiking. So, oh, can you do the next one, please?
Hmm.
Just samples of what the hiking. It's just you're in the mountains, but you're not doing a lot of elevation. It's mostly like the mountains are surrounding you, but you're hiking through pastures. So you can either, they have trails really well marked. Some people take bikes on these trails, other people hike, and it's just a real peaceful, beautiful area. Next.
I love the reflection on this one.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Good. Yeah, I was trying to get that. And these are what the little towns look like. I think this is Bolzano. And they have a lot of these little tiny side roads that you can walk up and down, and a lot of farmers markets, and of course, a lot of churches and cathedrals. Even up in the mountains, you're finding shrines everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's crosses with Jesus or shrines to different saints or little chapels tucked in the most remote places. So that's always beautiful. Next. And again, just another picture at the top of the gondola.
Isn't that beautiful? Oof.
We had a lot of wildflowers, which was really nice. I really enjoyed that. This one I think I did take with my Olympus. I did actually.
Beautiful balance in this. Yeah,
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I love the lone dandelion right here.
Oh, I didn't even see that. You're right.
I love that.
I mean, I planned on that. No.
Okay, yeah, that was the right answer.
Did not see that. All right. Well, that's about it.
And then next up, we have Jan. She just did some summer images.
I didn't know what I was doing. We do a lot of country drives looking for birds, wildflowers, whatever. And, this was a hawk that was tired of posing for the camera and he was taking off. And it's much more fun when they take off. He's a Fergus hawk, We have many different species here, just like down in the desert as they come through.
Beautiful,
But he was leaving the scene.
Nice.
beautiful picture. I love that.
Perfect timing.
Very nice.
Yes.
Thanks. Next. And this one is kind of a happy accident of a magpie, because I had been photographing something with a slower shutter speed, around a 200th of a second, when I photographed this magpie. And I typically shoot all the birds around 1,000th of a second. But this somewhat blurry in focus magpie appealed to me when I edited it with the mixture of the in focus and blur that was just a happy accident.
And then his eyes and his beak, his eye and his beak and his head are in perfect, sharp focus. That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love it.
thanks. It was just, and this morning in our backyard, my brother's sitting here, he's visiting from Vancouver Island. How many magpies were out there talking to us? About 15, I think. They were so loud about 7 o'clock this morning. They're beautiful birds, but much maligned. And noisy. Next. Oh, we were
Oh,
hiking.
wow.
Hiking in the mountains, and there were many of these butterflies, but I kind of got down to eye level with this guy on
Great
the
shot.
wildflower, and it appealed to me. The back of him was in shadow, and of course he wasn't, and I liked the way he managed to have his eyeballs pop, and some of the flowers a little bit blown, but it didn't seem to matter. Yeah, it
It's
was,
really nice.
That's great.
Beautiful, just
I
beautiful.
Love
liked
that. Yeah.
his antenna just popped
Mhm.
and all the fuzz on his
Now, how big is that butterfly? 4 inches, maybe?
How big is he? Oh,
Yeah,
he's probably,
wingspan. Wingspan.
the wingspan would be what, 1.25 inches?
Oh, wow. Oh, small.
Wow.
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 Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
yeah, he's maybe, yeah, about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, not any more than that. Yeah,
Mm.
he's very small. And they
Wow.
were really abundant that day on the wildflowers. I have way too many of this butterfly in all kinds of poses.
Really stands out with the background, with the dark background. It's very, very nice. Yeah, a lot of detail.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's a great shot.
Thanks. Next. We spent 2 weeks in Italy, traveling, and this is in Bologna. And those that know me know I like street photography and just capturing stories on the street. And this was an area, I think there was some kind of college, because there was another girl, and it was pretty obvious that they were studying scripts. And just the way that the light was reflected on her face from the paper, I liked, and just the dramatic light and shadows. So I captured her wandering by. And Italy was quite wonderful. We went there because my husband and Claire, who many of you know, was gifted tickets to Aida in the Colosseum in Verona as a Christmas gift this year. So the whole family the 6 of us were in Italy for 2 weeks. So I had lots of opportunities for street photography and have edited very little of it. But so there may be more in the future that are worth sharing, as I thought this one was.
That's so suitable for monochrome.
It's a messed up photo in color, and the light on her face just really works, and just the highlights around her head and back and stuff just kind of work better in monochrome, I thought.
What did you
Nice.
use to make it monochrome?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What did you use to make it monochrome?
I just do it in Photoshop, in Adobe Camera Raw, and change it to monochrome, and then use the color sliders and light and shadow however I want it to work.
Okay, thanks.
I don't do Lightroom because I've never learned it. And so I really only use
If
Photoshop.
you know Adobe Camera Raw, you know an awful lot of Lightroom.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I appreciate that. And I started using Elements, oh my gosh, 15 years ago, and then progressed to the big program and just didn't get involved with Lightroom when it came along. So it is what it is, and I just play in Photoshop. Keep learning, trying, having fun. Next. This is garlic chives in our garden, and the reason it looks somewhat ethereal is because I learned from somebody when I was photographing in a local garden. She was wrapping, if you know what tulle is the kind of stuff that they make brides' veils and stuff out of, but it does come in a variety of colors. And so I watched her do this, and so I came home and played in the garden and wrapped the tulle around my lens so that I had only a tiny bit of it right in the center that was not sort of shooting through the tulle. So there's a very tiny area of absolute focus, but the rest of it is somewhat blurred because I'm shooting through the tulle around the lens. So yeah, right
Okay.
there in the middle, Darcy, is in focus that is not the tulle. But it was really fun to play with it. And I went down to my ribbon drawer in the basement and discovered I have about, I don't know, 3 different colors of rolls of tulle. So I was out in the yard playing with it and thought I'd share this rather interesting technique. So the chives are blooming in our garden, and I played with it.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, I think, the last of my summer.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
We have been, the Calgary Stampede is huge, and I have gazillions of photos of that. And the canola fields are in bloom, and there's all kinds of birds, and there are wild horses that we went to see 2 days ago. And, you know, it's not been boring with the camera in the last few weeks.
Awesome.
Lots of fun.
And then coming up, we have Jean Scott. She did the moon and more.
Okay. Well, you know, Darcy asked about what your summer projects were, and I have John Erdman in part to thank for this because John was kind enough to let me borrow his scanner for slides. So I've just gone through hundreds of slides and film negatives and old prints, and in part I was looking for some of these images. My oldest friend is going to turn 90 on August 3rd. And we've been friends for 50 years. And I dug around and with John's help, I found some of these pictures of her and me over the years. And, you know, photography for me is, there's so much learning involved. And I had no idea how to put multiple images on a single page.
Yeah.
So I had to research, how do you do that? You know, and how do you resize them? And how do you, you know, move them from here to there? And then how do you add text and all of that. So it was just a really fun learning experience. And I made an 8x10 of this, and I put it in a frame, and I'm going to give it to her when I go out to see her for her 90th birthday dinner in a couple of weeks. So thanks, John.
Nice.
Next one.
That's so special.
Yeah,
That is, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty special. I don't have any friends that I've known for 50 years other than Ruth, and it's been very nice. This is my first night with my new camera. Craig Anderson suggested one night quickly, let's run out and try to shoot this strawberry moon tonight. And I said, okay. And another great learning experience, my first experience with a mirrorless camera. And I was fascinated by the fact that you could achieve a really fine focus looking through the viewfinder. Because I've always been with DSLRs, and I've never tried to really, I've shot lunar eclipses, but I've never really tried to just do the moon. And anyway, this was, for me, this was great fun, and I was pleased with the results. So now I think I have to add the moon to my Milky Ways and star trails and other things I like to shoot at night. So I think I might get involved with the moon a little bit more.
That's really, where were you where'd you shoot this from? Because the usually there's some haze in the atmosphere, and yet the edges of that moon are just so sharp.
Yeah, we went up to Joshua Tree.
Oh, sorry, up in Joshua Tree.
Yeah, yeah, we went into the park. I don't even remember where in the park we were. I can't. Oh, I was not far from Live Oak, Miley, where you and I shot the Milky Way one night. It was in that Live Oak area. We were hard pressed to find a place where we could catch the moon when it was just coming up above the horizon, so that it would be as big as possible, and not have anything, in the way. So it was a little bit challenging, and we only found the spot that we ended up in like 2 minutes before we had to start shooting. And it was a little bit of a challenge because I had a 100 to 400 lens on with a 2x extender.
Wow.
And even with which is an 800 millimeter shot then, and even with a collar to attach to the tripod from the lens itself, not on the camera, it was still a lot of weight, and my ball head was slipping a little bit, so there were some challenges. But I got excited about adding the moon to a repertoire.
That is a great picture.
Thank
That's
you.
lovely.
Thank you. I was pretty pleased with that one.
What kind of new camera do you have, Jean?
I bought my first mirrorless. I'm a Canon shooter, so I bought an R5 Mark II.
R5, yeah, right.
Mark II just came out in the end of this past year, and I haven't bought any RF lenses for it. I'm using an adapter with my lenses from my Canon DSLRs, but that seems to be fine. I'm not.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it works. It works.
Same setup, and you lose nothing. It's amazing how well that works. It just what they've done with the newer mirrorless camera, it actually transmits the distance into your metadata.
Huh.
So if you're focused at 42 feet, it'll say that.
Wow.
So,
I'm leaving for Costa Rica on Monday and hoping to do some actual daytime shooting for a change. With the wildlife, monkeys and toucans or whatever, I'm hoping. And they have a feature in this camera where the focus will follow the movement of your eye.
yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I haven't figured out how it works yet, and you have to kind of train the camera with your eye motion, but I may give that a try as well. It's pretty exciting.
What's your biggest aha going to mirrorless? Because you were so hesitant for quite a while.
Well, I was, Jan. I really hesitated because I was shooting with 5D Mark IVs, and I love that camera.
Mhm.
But this was my first night shooting with it when I got this moon, and the idea that I could focus on the moon looking through the viewfinder, and it was as bright as all get out and allowed a perfect tack sharp focus. I mean, I was pretty excited about that.
And the fact that you can see it in the viewfinder when you take it.
Right.
Yes.
Or you
Yeah.
click.
Yeah. So yeah, I know I'm late to the party with going mirrorless, but I'm really happy with it so far. Still learning because some of the buttons and controls are in different areas, so I'm still stumbling around with it a little bit, but I'm learning slowly.
Yeah.
Don't you, Gene, don't you love the size of that camera too? It's just a little bit smaller than your
Yeah.
Mark IV, isn't it?
Yep.
A little, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
nice
little
camera.
bit smaller. The weight doesn't really affect me much because mostly I'm shooting on a tripod, so it
Yeah.
doesn't, that maybe when I'm carrying it around, I might notice the difference.
Yeah. Mhm.
But the difference is made up by the adapter I have to put on in order to use the lenses I
Right.
had for my
That is.
DSLR, but that's okay. I'm not worried about the weight too much.
You'll love Costa Rica.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah.
It's fabulous.
Next one, Darcy.
Hold on.
Darcy, next one.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you heard me.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's hung up on me.
So this I just had to share this.
fun.
So this is my year for making a lot of mistakes when I'm shooting, it seems. And one of the mistakes I made was when Miley and I went up to Joshua Tree to shoot the Milky Way one night. And as is my wont, I use one camera for shooting the Milky Way, and then I have my second backup camera, and I usually point that in another direction just casually, and I shoot some star trails, get it started and let it rip. The way I compose and typically is to set when it's pitch dark at night, is I set my ISO at something ridiculously high, like 32,000 or something, so that I can just take a 1 second shot handheld just to form my composition and see what I'm looking at, etc. So I couldn't find a good composition. I said, well, I'll just shoot in this direction for star trails. And I set my intervalometer up to do some nice long exposures so that I could lower my ISO. The way I like to do star trails is you can lower your ISO and take a longer shot with an intervalometer, even, a couple of minutes. So I set my camera up quickly to do those star trails, and then I went back to my Milky Ways. But, being old, I guess, or whatever, I managed to forget to put the camera back on a lower ISO. I calculated it that it would be a 3-minute shot or something at ISO 400 or 800 or something, and I set everything up with the intervalometer very nicely, got the camera started, and just let it go all night. When I got home, I saw images like the one you see at the top, and I realized that I had left the camera on 32,000 ISO. So that's a 32,000 ISO shot at like 3 minutes. Well, what baffled me, and this just left me speechless. For whatever reason, I decided to play with them. So I had like, a dozen or 15 of these shots, all looking the same, all with these totally white skies. And I went through just a couple of steps, but I stacked them and I played with them in Photoshop, and the result is the picture you see at the bottom.
Wow.
Wow.
And all I had were those totally snow white skies. So, I've heard that, photographically, it's easier to pull detail out of highlights than it is if you've lost them on the dark side. But it's just baffling to me to realize that somewhere in those white skies, the camera had enough detail to see the stars and make the trails and see the color as well.
Wow.
So
Isn't that amazing?
Exposing to the right really works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Seriously, exposed to the right. I just couldn't believe it. I still have trouble believing that those are the same. I made the bottom shot out of 15 of the top shots. Crazy.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
In the bottom image, it looks like because of the curvature of the stars, Polaris would be off to the left, but it looks like it'd be off to the right in the lower right corner. Why are they going at opposing angles?
That happens depending upon the direction you're facing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't quote it off the top of my head, but there's like PhotoPills and other places you can get charts of what the direction of the trails will look like depending upon the direction you're facing. And some of them will get quite dramatic where they're, curving to the left on one side and curving to the right on the other side, which is what was apparently happening here.
Never seen that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, it is quite interesting to see the different shapes you get. And of course, your trails are much longer if you're not shooting directly north.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember how long this was, but it was about a dozen or so shots of 3 minutes each.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that because it's such an amazing, talk about a before and after, huh, Craig, like you were doing? Talk about before and after. Anyway, I think that's all I brought in.
Yeah.
Really nice, Gene.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's amazing. That top photo. So you said it was the bottom stacked, but so each of them was just lowered by 8 stops or something, right?
Yeah, every shot I had 15 identical shots, 12 or 15, I think, somewhere in there. And they all looked exactly like the top one.
I see it. Wow.
And then I put them together in Star Stacks and I played with them. I mean, it's certainly not a great picture because I couldn't do a whole lot with the foreground and I didn't really play with it that much because it wasn't a keeper kind of a shot, but I was so impressed with Photoshop and what it could salvage out of the mess that I made of it at 32,000 ISO.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. That's all for me, I think.
Yes, and next we have Mitch, who told me he took these pictures while he was training for a backpack trip.
Yes, I've been doing that for a while. Go ahead and go to the next one. I am on my 5th annual pass to the Palm Springs Tram. And on March 30th, our next speaker, Nadine, and I she put on micro spikes on her boots. I put crampons on my boots. And we hiked from 8,300 feet up to 9,700 feet up on snow and ice the whole way. And we just had a great time. We surprised ourselves at how good we felt. And well, let's go further. And it was one of the most beautiful cloud and wind events. I shot a video and set it to classical music on Instagram. And it's the best reel ever. So next. By the way, most every photo I'm showing you is with the iPhone 11. There's
Wow.
she's in charge of scale. A lot of beautiful on that rock there. And next. There's a loop that's very popular, especially with annual pass holders, where you go towards Round Valley, cut left and take the high trail over towards Hidden Lake, and then come back to the tram. It's a big triangle. And this is on the high trail, and I'm always fascinated by how these old, large trees are actually stronger than the rocks. Their roots will split the rocks. And a lot of them, when they fall, their roots be holding rocks that have never seen the sunlight. Next. This is with the Nikon D850. Nadine and I went up to a place up there that's popular with rock climbers called Shangri-La. When you ride the tram, you'll often see crash pads, these big fluffy things that they will fall onto when they're bouldering, and they'll take them up to Shangri-La. But if you go a little bit further than they do, you don't hear anybody and you don't see anybody. This is near the edge of the cliff. And I was so taken by these trees when we went up there with our friend Lyle. When I went back with my friend Peter, I took the 14 to 24 and lay on my back and shot straight up at 14 millimeter and turned it black and white using Nick Silver.
That's great.
Thank you. Next. Hard to believe that's up there in the San Jacinto Mountains above Palm Springs. Another Nikon shot. I love lichen. This was a difficult patch to photograph because if I'd gone any closer, I probably would have fallen to my death. So I didn't want to. If you look off to the far left, you'll see the northern edge of Palm Springs down there, a little lower. You'll see some, just to the right a little bit. Yeah, it's probably, I don't know. It's near Gene Autry or Date Palm. Maybe a little further west, possibly Indian Canyon, North Palm Springs. And you can usually tell up in the San Jacinto Mountains which way is north, because that's where the lichen likes to face. Next. So on this hike, Nadine and I are with a couple of other friends of ours doing a 13-mile hike that had about 2,700 feet of elevation gain. And we kind of dialed in the challenge because we went over a pass and dropped a lot through a burn area. In 2013, the mountain fire destroyed a lot of beautiful forest up in this area. I am so happy to see this little, I call it bonsai tree, still growing. If you look at the trunk, it's really, really old, but it shows a stupid place to go. But it's probably slowly splitting this rock as it grows. It doesn't get a lot of rainwater. Next. So I had mentioned to Nadine and Larry and Doris that the last time I did this particular hike, my friend and I saw a lot of ferns, and we have just reached the ferns. And I knelt down to photograph the lupin with Larry and Doris in the background. And Nadine walked in. To quote Nadine, she said she looks like Bigfoot. Nadine's got quite a stride. That's why she's usually up for anything. Next. And there were just thousands of ferns in this one section. I guess the snow was enough that it nourished the land, and they popped back again this year. It's just amazing to think this is Southern California. Next. And then I did a solo hike where I went towards the summit of San Jacinto, but I went off to the left to a mountain called Jean Peak. But I got tangled in a lot of rockfall, and I decided to look for some shade. I'm always looking for shade because I've had some skin cancer removed from my cheek. And this was the most beautiful shallow cave I have ever found. The roof is lined with lichen, and there's this beautiful tree here that's reaching up to the top where the rocks almost meet. And in the distance, you can see the northern flanks of the Santa Ana Mountains where the 91 freeway goes to Orange County. Okay, that's next. That's it.
That's it. Next, we have Nadine, and her themes seem to have been trees and leaves and shadows.
Yeah, these are just more little snippets. I'm up to about 500 now. I have of these little things of trees in the wind and camera movement and just shadows and just very obscure things that will one day all come together in an amazing work of art. And this is shadows, but I love shadows. I love seeing things that we don't normally see. I love that the camera sees things that we don't normally see. Next. Oh, I just thought these were
That's awesome.
beautiful. Yeah, thank you. I was on a hike with Mitch, my fearless leader. So fortunate. Anybody ever get to hike with Mitch, you're a lucky person. Next.
Thank you.
Just more shadows. This looked like an alien to me with I see black in the eyes, and it just made me laugh. So, next. And this,
Ooh.
a day out by the pool, and it was breezy, and I just pulled out my 70-200, and this is just in the wind. This is just all natural in camera.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you. And the same with the next one. Next.
I like that one. That looks like a watercolor.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, I have a gazillion of these things, and but see, that's what I love about photography is like that happened, but we didn't see it. You know, we saw it, but we couldn't catch it. So I love like the natural, the moon shots and things that we, you know, that we can capture by the camera that we miss in life. That's all.
Okay.
Nice.
And next, that is cool. I love the motion.
That's a great way of looking at it, especially like in the case of the Milky Way. It happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, same thing. Okay.
Next, we have Patrick. I just put them down as summer images. So you ready, Patrick?
Yep. Let's go. This is a photo that I've used for many years. I took it, it's at the gateway to Yellowstone. And I had a picture, and it's actually sold a number of times, but I entered in a contest and it didn't do very well. But it wasn't this version. um, and I talked with Jean and showed her the original photo, and she says, "Yeah, the lighting's just flat," and because that's the way it was. But then I worked on it a bit, and I think now it's got some. I cleaned up a little bit of stuff on the right-hand border too, but yeah, I just a street shot and with the moon.
What's the name of that town?
Livingston, Montana.
Okay.
For those that want the moon up there in the straight out of camera is probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 pixels smaller on both sides. So there's a technique in Photoshop where you can go to the filters and use liquify and put a circle and put the moon dead center in that circle, and then use the bloat option, and it'll just expand it. Every time you click, it expands it by 1 or 2 pixels. And so you can take that moon, which was just a little smaller, but now I think it looks better. It was just a little too small. And the nice thing about it is that you can't see that you've done it. I mean, there's no surrounding area that you can see. I've blown it up to huge, 400%, and you can't see it. It's just amazing how it works. But then again, Photoshop, if you know what you're doing, is pretty amazing. And I don't fall into that category.
Yeah. The photo really pops, and the color and clarity, it's very clean. So it really pops off the screen. Very nice.
Thank you. Next. Just got back from Hawaii and had to have one shot of the waterfalls, and it was just a pretty waterfall. And apparently, if you're there at the wrong time or the right time, whichever way you want to think about it, when it really starts to rain, this is a highly dangerous river. I mean, there's signs all over the place. Don't go anywhere near this. And my understanding is the whole width of that is all solid water coming down. But just a nice waterfall. I thought it framed up pretty well. Next. Just a fern that looks kind of like a person, but I just liked it.
Mhm.
Next. And this is a Joshua Tree special. This is a composite of, I had both photos. The foreground photo was taken about an hour and a half in front of the rest of the photo from a different location. Part of the thing that's interesting about this photo is I'd done it a number of years ago. And if you looked at the edges of the Joshua trees where their spikes are, it wasn't really clean in between it. And I spent hours trying to clean up those areas. And then I'd seen one of the new selects come out, and they were showing how before, if you took a picture of a bicycle wheel and you said to select it, it would select the outside of the wheel and maybe 1 or 2 spokes. And they've improved the selects so much that now if you do that same shot, it'll pick every spoke. And I said, wonder how it works on this. And every one of those is totally clean now. I put it up to 300%, and each one of them is clear, and you can see the stars behind it. Anyhow, that's a composite of 2 shots taken about 2 hours apart.
Nice.
Next.
That was it. So, is Ty here?
I don't think
Very
so.
nice, Patrick.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice, Patrick. Okay. He did some Native American indigenous dancers, so we'll just go through them. That one's so cute.
It is.
And that's it. Thanks for coming tonight. Remember, we have the WOW Challenge going on. Please upload your images by the end of August. There'll be another photo share next month. Be inspired, work on projects, take pictures, and explore life.
Happy
And I am going to
summer. Thanks, Darcy, for putting all of this together. It's really
Yeah,
fun.
indeed.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Darcy.
Thanks, Darcy. That was great.
Everyone.
This was
Really fun to
delightful.
see.
Thank you, Darcy.
And thanks for participating.